Rachel Ziegler was supposed to be the future, Spielberg's handpicked star, a breakout darling with a golden ticket straight out of her bedroom. One day she was singing YouTube covers, the next she was leading West Side Story. Critics couldn't stop praising her. Hollywood threw open its doors. Red carpets, interviews, standing ovations, it all came at lightning speed. From the outside, it looked like a dream. But dreams cast shadows, and this one is starting to feel less like a fairy tale and more like a cautionary tale. This isn't just another piece of tabloid gossip. It's the story of one of Hollywood's most hyped young stars breaking down, literally and figuratively, during one of the most iconic musical numbers ever written. Mid-performance, "Don't Cry for Me Argentina" barely made it past the first verse. The audience froze. Rachel glanced offstage, blinked slowly, and simply walked away. No warning. No lines. Just gone. How does someone so beloved, so destined for greatness, reach the point where the curtain drops mid-song and never rises again? Start here. Evita is no ordinary gig. Playing Eva Peron is one of the toughest roles in musical theater, vocally, emotionally, physically. Patti LuPone set the gold standard decades ago, and every actress since has stepped into those heels under crushing pressure. Rachel knew this. She still said yes. Maybe that was bravery. Maybe it was her first mistake. Behind the scenes, whispers grew. The production wasn't running smoothly. Rehearsals dragged on, directors kept changing things, and Rachel, barely in her 20s, was reportedly showing cracks early on. She arrived anxious, sometimes in tears. Between breaks, she isolated herself, headphones in, head down. Rumors spread that she was already struggling to cope, keep up, and that was before previews even began. By the time Tech Week rolled around, the tension backstage was so thick you could cut it with a MIC stand. Preview night. Sold-out crowd. Fans, critics, theater insiders, all crammed into the room, waiting for Rachel to prove she was worthy of Eva Peron's crown. The lights came up, the orchestra started, and something felt wrong. Her voice. Fine. But the energy was gone. Her eyes looked vacant. Timing, just slightly off. That natural connection with the audience, the thing that once seemed effortless, had vanished. Then it happened. Midway through "Don't Cry for Me Argentina," she froze. Stopped singing entirely. A long, heavy pause. Silence. Then, without a word, she walked off stage, as if it were a casual rehearsal, not a live performance. The audience sat stunned. Moments later, the stage manager shuffled out and muttered something about a technical delay. But everyone knew what they had just seen. That wasn't tech trouble. That was something else. Within hours, Twitter was on fire. Clips, reactions, frame-by-frame breakdown threads. Rumors flew, panic attack, fainting, full-on breakdown. Then came the official statement from the production. Rachel Ziegler will be taking a brief medical leave due to health reasons. Short, vague, not reassuring. The next day, matinee, cancelled. Evening show, cancelled. Rachel's face, wiped from the theater's Instagram. Silence. No posts. No stories. No paparazzi shots. It was like she had vanished overnight. When she finally resurfaced, she was spotted on a Manhattan sidewalk, hoodie up, sunglasses on, coffee in hand, smiling with a friend. The internet instantly reignited. One side, if she's walking around New York smiling, why can't she show up for work? The other, she had a breakdown, not a broken leg. One fan clapped back on ICOT. Let her breathe. And honestly, that's where the whole thing began spiraling into a messy tug-of-war between empathy and accountability. Was Rachel Ziegler the victim of a ruthless industry, or simply someone who couldn't handle the pressure she'd signed up for? Then came the digging. Old interviews started resurfacing. Moments that once seemed charming now hit differently. Like the time she joked about needing therapy after press tours, laughing but not entirely joking. Or that clip where she admitted waking up with a knot of dread in her stomach before public appearances. At the time, these weren't red flags. But now, people were watching with fresh eyes, especially after Snow White. The project that was supposed to be her next big win had already been under fire. The casting had sparked online chaos. People slammed the direction, the tone, everything. And then Rachel gave that interview, pouring gasoline on an already burning fire. She said she hated the original Snow White and that this version would be different because the prince isn't necessary. Cue the internet meltdown. The backlash was swift, loud, and vicious. So when the Evita situation happened, critics wasted no time connecting the dots. Hollywood's gamble on Gen Z, one op-ed sneered. Another labeled her ungrateful, entitled, and wildly unprepared for stardom. It wasn't just about one show anymore. It was about a bigger, more uncomfortable question. Had Rachel been pushed too far, or was she never built for this in the first place? While the public picked sides, whispers began circulating behind the scenes of the Evita production. A few cast members liked posts hinting at backstage chaos. Then a cryptic Instagram story appeared. Not all silence is golden. No names, no tags. But everyone had the same guess. And then came the rumor that Rachel hadn't even been the first choice for the role. Rumors claimed Rachel was cast in Evita at the last minute, not because she was the perfect fit, but because her name would sell tickets. The producers, it was said, wanted star power, not stage power. If that's true, it explains a lot. Fresh off a box office flop and an online firestorm, Rachel may have walked into an impossible role, carrying the weight of ticket sales rather than artistic vision. The performances themselves didn't help. Evita had its preview nights, but it never truly opened. When Rachel left, the understudy stepped in, but by then, the magic was gone. Ticket sales dipped. The production quietly cut back its schedule. And then came the final blow, early closure. Industry insiders were quick to label it one of the most cursed revivals in recent memory. Some swore it felt doomed from the start. Meanwhile, Rachel's team went into full crisis mode. Publicists rotated. Lawyers began combing through every single quote before it went public. Disney executives, already battling the Snow White backlash, were reportedly watching her career with new caution. Whispers suggested they might be reconsidering everything from her press appearances to her future casting. It's easy to forget just how young she is, barely out of college age, yet carrying the weight of blockbuster budgets, Broadway expectations, and a social media mob that never sleeps. It's a lot for anyone. But in Hollywood, there's no pause button. You either show up, or someone else takes your spot. And lately, it feels like the industry's patience is wearing thin. The spotlight never truly turns off. It just shifts. And while Rachel Ziegler stepped back to recover, the noise around her only got louder. This wasn't just gossip blogs anymore. Major outlets began publishing think pieces on young fame, burnout, and what it means to try building a career in an industry that demands everything and forgives nothing. Some articles turned Rachel into a cautionary tale. One headline bluntly read, "From Wonder Kid to Warning, Ziegler's Hollywood. Cliff dive." Others took a softer tone, pointing to the impossible standards placed on young women in entertainment, especially those who dared to speak their minds. For every interview where she sounded confident, there was a flood of tweets calling her arrogant. For every boundary she tried to set, she was labeled difficult. It's the same old Hollywood script: build them up fast, then tear them down even faster. Now, the real question everyone's quietly asking is, can she come back from this? Hollywood has a short memory but a long history of comebacks. One year you're the punchline, the next you're accepting an award to a standing ovation. But that kind of turnaround never happens by accident. It takes strategy, time, and a level of resilience most people don't even realize they need, until it's already too late. Rachel's team seems to understand this. Reports suggest they've started laying the groundwork. Quiet meetings with new PR firms, conversations with directors known for actor-friendly sets, a pause on red carpet appearances, and no more interviews, for now. Just silence, strategy, and, if the timing is right, a carefully chosen comeback role in a smaller, more emotionally grounded film. Meanwhile, social media remains split. Some fans are riding hard for her, insisting this is just one chapter in a much bigger story. Others have already moved on, speculating about who will replace her in future roles. And then there's the silent majority, people who aren't tweeting, aren't posting, but are still watching it all unfold, waiting to see what happens next. There are even whispers that Rachel herself has finally started therapy. Whether that's true or not, it would make sense. Fame this early comes with a cost. Your wins don't always feel like yours. And in Hollywood, once the narrative gets away from you, it stops being about the performance. It becomes about the story people tell about you. And when that story spins out of control, it takes serious inner work to take it back. Then there's Snow White. It's still coming out, whether audiences are ready for it or not. The question isn't just will it be good, it's will people even want to see her in it? That's a different kind of pressure, because if the film flops, the blame won't fall on the writing, the direction, or even Disney. It'll fall squarely on Rachel. Fair or not, that's the way this game works. And yet, here's the strange thing, she still has a shot. Beneath all the drama, the backlash, and the public meltdowns, there's talent. Real talent. The kind you can't fake. The kind that made Spielberg look at a teenager's YouTube video and say, "That's her." That spark doesn't just disappear overnight, it just gets buried under everything else. So maybe the comeback won't be a flashy blockbuster or a high-stakes musical. Maybe it'll be a quiet indie film, or a stripped-down stage play in a small city. No pressure, no paparazzi, no noise, just her, a MIC, and a story. And maybe that's exactly what she needs. Not to be the next big thing, just to be herself.